What is up, friends? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Adrian and I am the face behind my dream of simple living. So today's video is going to be a little bit different. I will be completely honest with you guys. I had a whole video ready to go for you guys that I've been sitting on all week, and I'm going to be real with y'all because this is what you're going to get from me. This is who I am. I'm not going to sugarcoat. I am going to be so honest with you guys because, you know, this is real life over here, y'all. I'm all about real life. So last week, I, had talked to my husband about groceries, right? And the amount of groceries and how we can save as far as our grocery budget. And so I decided I'm going to go to my local grocery stores. Typically I'm a Costco girl. In some instances, I'm a Sam's girl because I feel like for me, buying in bulk just does better. However, there are times when we go into our big box stores that we just lose our minds. Let me just be honest. Does anybody else lose their minds? Because I typically lose my mind. And we're a family of 4, y'all. My husband doesn't eat meat. Well, he does eat meat. He'll only eat seafood, and it's literally like salmon or shrimp every once in a while, maybe once a month, but he doesn't eat meat. Me and my kiddos do, and but we don't eat a ton of meat. So when we go into these stores, I'm thinking there's not a lot for us to get, but some kind of way we always end up spending like $600 or $700. What is happening? And we would be doing that like every 2 weeks, y'all, and that was just way too much for us because what we were finding is some of the same food, produce, and different things would just sit in the refrigerator, and that is my fault. That is our fault because we don't, we could do better. We could steward our food better. I totally get it. So that leads me to what my video was going to be about last week. So I think I'm going to go to my local grocery stores, right? I'm going to go to my local Kroger if you have one of those around. I'm going to go to my local Aldi, and I'm going to stick within a $250 budget. That is it. That's all I'm going to use. I'm not using anything else because we can do this. Friends, I go into these stores and I'm trying to pick the certain things here. And when I got home, it literally looked like, compared to the amount of money that I spent, it literally looked like I had gotten $50 worth of groceries. I was so disappointed. I was so frustrated. And I know that a lot of you guys know what I'm talking about. Groceries are not cheap right now. Whether you go to a Sam's or Costco, Kroger, whatever you go to, you're going to feel that grocery budget. So, sorry guys, there's crackers and all the things because this is true living. This is it. This is what you get. Anyway, so I decide that I'm going to do all of this, and I'm like, okay, so I go into my Aldi, I go into my Kroger, and I literally, y'all, I kid you not, get this stuff, and I think I'm going to get home and we're going to have a lot. My husband looks at everything that I picked up, and he was like, where's the meat? I was like, what? I didn't even realize the only thing out of everything that I bought, y'all, I only had 2 packages of chicken tenderloins. I didn't get half of the meat. Now, the way that I typically like to shop, because we are not huge meat eaters, I can typically get away with getting the bulk of my meat maybe 2 to 3 times a year. Maybe I would almost venture to say every 6 months, because the last time I bought a bunch of chicken, I typically get it when it's on a really good sale, like at Sam's or Costco. I get my beef a lot of times from Costco, and we literally still have chicken from the last time I did my big meat shopping. Now, I have thought about getting a half a cow, fourth of a cow, all the things, but I just don't feel like as a family, we're at that place. However, I'm going to say something else a little bit later that it's just, in my mind, I'm just like, but maybe it would be better, right? So I decide that I'm going to go to this local butcher shop that's, down the street. It's still a big box store, but it's, a little local to us. It's not like it's just a butcher shop, like you're buying a half a cow or a half a pig or whatever it is that you're doing. And I'm like, okay, so for example, I go into Costco because I still ended up needing to go to Costco, and I'm looking at their chuck roast, right? And they have these big, nice looking chuck roast, like beautiful chuck roast. You ever look at the meat and you're like, man, that's a pretty steak, just me. All right. So anyway, I'm looking at it and I'm like, oh, it's and I'm talking about two big ones for like $31. But I'm like, well, I can go to my local butcher shop and I can get that, maybe it's cheaper. So, I bypass all of the meat in Costco this day. And I'm like, no, this is the day before that I went into I went into Costco. Yes. So, okay. Y'all, I'm getting ahead of myself. So I go into my local butcher shop and I'm like, I know that they have chuck roast for cheaper, right? Y'all, they have chuck roast this small, this thick for $15, $16. Now, I was able to find one because at this point I'm really wanting a chuck roast, right? And I'm thinking, I want this for dinner on Sunday and it's Saturday, so I gotta go ahead and buy it. Costco is literally about 20, 30 minutes from us. The local butcher shop or grocery store, is more of a smaller grocery store. They have a butcher shop in the back. It's down the street from me, so I'm like, I'm gonna have to go ahead and get it. I was able to find one that was honestly much thinner, not even as big, for like $11, y'all. My heart sank, and my husband told me, he said, listen, you started the year off buying your food in bulk, and you did really well, but the issue is that you're buying the wrong thing in bulk. So meat, my flour, my sugar, all of those things I need to buy in bulk. I honestly have not even went through the amount of flour that I thought that I was going to use, but it's still good. I can still use it. Sugar, we went through our 25 bag pound of sugar from Azure Standard really, quickly because it was the canning season. And so what I really should have done was I really should have just kept getting those things in bulk, because when I go into these smaller chain grocery stores, I'm like, girl, you're going to spend more than you would buying in bulk. So let me just tell you, y'all, I reneged on everything I said. Everything I said. And I went to Costco. I bought the meat that I needed. And to be honest, I spent around $300. But I did well because I didn't get sidetracked by all the other things. That's typically what we do. And I'm not going to lie, y'all. We did not have a good produce year last year in the garden. I'm going to talk about this a little bit later. I have some more stuff coming up. But I feel like our garden year was just we had a lot going on. We had added chickens to our farm. And for those who do not know, I work a full-time job. I homeschool my kids. Our family dynamic, just our schedules completely changed over the summer, like abruptly, right as if we were getting into the bulk of the garden season. We were traveling a little bit for my job. Chickens, we were having house sitters, everything just came to a head, y'all. I had to learn to let some things go. Again, I'll talk about that a little bit later. But I just couldn't handle it all. My garden, literally, by the end of June, I think it was completely covered in weeds. We still harvested things, but our garden did basically the worst that it's ever done. Now, you will learn this about me and our family. We prefer the fall garden over the summer garden. We love our tomatoes. We like our cucumbers. We don't grow a lot of squash. So in the summer garden, there's not a ton of things that we grow other than like our tomatoes and, you know, cucumbers. Squash bugs eat all my squash. And to be honest, I'm like the only one in the family that really eats squash, really. So I have to kind of, by the end of the garden season, decide what's important, what's not. And to be honest, growing squash for just me to eat it, it's not even worth the battle. I still try to grow some, but I just end up giving up, and I'm just like, yeah, whatever. Now this year, I am going to be doing a video kind of showing you guys what it is that I'm planning to do, because I think I'm at that point. This is going into my fourth year gardening. So I'm really going to be making some plans and figuring out the things that are important. All right, so like I said, the plan this year is basically to really focus on production. Now, with that being said, me and my husband have basically really sat down and thought about, what do we really eat? What do we really need to help us preserve enough for a full year? So that is where we are. Do we need 1,000,001, for instance, cucumbers? We love cucumbers for fresh eating, but at the time that we started our garden, my youngest daughter loved to eat pickles. One of the things that I didn't want her doing was eating a large amount of sodium, so I thought we need to grow as many cucumbers as we possibly can. We were getting cucumbers out of our ears. I was doing refrigerator cucumbers. I was doing cucumbers for our pantry shelf, and we found out that we really don't eat as many cucumbers or pickles as we thought. And so after canning the first round, I went to try to do the rest of them, and they basically just went bad because we weren't eating them fast enough. So for me, growing 1,000,001 cucumbers is a little too much. However, I am working on my health, a different lifestyle, and the way that I eat. So a lot of those things this year, or this upcoming year, will be important. However, I still don't feel like I need 2001 Vision Center. Anyway, cucumbers to satisfy our needs. So that's something that I'm going to be looking at. Now, early spring garden, we do okay early spring, but what I find is that in our climate, now we are zone 7, we were, you know, everything changed. We were zone 7B, or 7A, 7B, and now we're 8A. Like right now, we're in the middle of December and we're still having 65-degree days. We get cold in January, we get cold in February, but we don't get so cold that we have this super long spring to where we can get a ton of brassicas and things in the ground and get them fully developed. So what I love for the spring is to plant those things. I love to plant my broccolis. I love to plant my cauliflower, my greens. We love greens. Turnips, radishes. But what I love about those things in the spring is that I can eat, I mean, we eat the leaves from cauliflower, we eat all of the, even from radishes. I know a lot of people are like, oh, they're spiky, but honestly, when I cook them down, I can't really tell a huge difference. The same thing with turnips. So what we're looking forward to the most is being able to grow those things, because that's what we eat the most of. The fall before last, when we were at our old home, was the best. I'm telling you, that was the best growing season, hands down. Even outside of our summer garden, we had a garden full of beautiful broccoli, beautiful cauliflower. We had radishes, we had beets, we had turnips, we had so many things. Our bok choys, our tapsoys, everything you could imagine we had, and I am telling you, we were eating from the garden every single day. My husband was just amazed. Like, he loves Swiss chard. I don't love Swiss chard, but I grew it for him, and it was the best garden we've ever had. So we've had to really think about what's important in our life, in our home, that we can eat. But at that time, I got so overwhelmed with the amount of the fall garden because I really didn't know how to preserve it. I didn't think about, let me freeze this kale to throw into soup. Let me freeze this kale, this, bok choy to throw into stir fry. And so a lot of what I was growing, once it was over, it was just over and I hadn't saved anything. So now going into the spring, for me with the spring, I know that if I'm going to be growing broccoli and cabbage and all the things, I'm going to grow them for baby greens. I'm not necessarily looking for huge cabbage heads. Now, if they turn into huge cabbage heads, broccoli, that's okay. But I know that I can get those bigger heads of cabbage and broccoli and lettuce and all the things in the fall. So in the spring, I'm going to focus more on, let me get my turnips in the ground. Let me get my parsnips, my things, my root veggies, the things that I love, and just let them grow until wherever they're at. Now, the other thing that we're doing is I actually purchased a greenhouse that I think will be really, really good for our family. However, we're waiting to put it up because we have another project that we're working on. And like I said, I'm going to bring you guys along for that whole ride. I've already kind of talked about it a little bit in our previous videos, so you'll just have to kind of follow along. I'm saying if you want to know more, you're going to have to go ahead and subscribe, friends. Go ahead and subscribe because I ain't spilling the beans in this video. Actually, I probably will. But I'm just saying, for me, it's just, back to what we were originally talking about. One of the things that I learned is that it makes sense for us as a family to purchase things in bulk, but to purchase the right things. I can't go and purchase produce in bulk and think that we're going to get through it in 1 week. And if I do purchase that produce in bulk, while it's on a good sale, I need to learn how to preserve it better. For instance, I have a couple of bags of Brussels sprouts that were on sale at my local Aldi. Well, I thought we were going to eat those really quickly, but we haven't. So what I'm going to be doing this weekend, probably tomorrow, is I'm going to be going through the produce that I have in my refrigerator, the green beans, the Brussels sprouts, the zucchini, the things that I purchased before they go bad, and I am going to preserve those things. I will shred the zucchini up and put it in their freezer for zucchini bread or to throw into a soup or to throw into spaghetti sauce. The green beans, I'm going to chop those up, throw them in the freezer. I don't necessarily love the taste of or the texture of frozen green beans, but maybe I can freeze those and throw them in a soup to where it really wouldn't matter. There is a way for me to preserve the things that I have without losing everything that I purchased, because I don't want to be wasteful. I want to be a good steward of the food that we have. I want to be a good steward of everything, which is honestly why I changed the name of this channel to My Dream of Simple Living. To some, that may not mean anything, but I just want to get back to a very simple life. Now, does that mean that I don't like to go and do things and, we're going to have all the animals on our homestead? No, because right now, the only thing we have is our garden, and that's really the only thing that works for us right now. So, I said all of that to say this. I will have more about this subject because it's very important to me. And I also want you guys to weigh in on what you think as far as bulk buying or local grocery store. Are you the person that likes to go to 2 or 3 different grocery stores to get the best deals? Are you the type of person that would prefer to just go to your big box stores like a Costco or a Sam's or as your standard? By the way, if you want to order from As Your Standard, I do have a linky in the description box. And I think you can save a little money. I'm just saying, go on over there. Click it. Click it. Don't think about it. Just click it now and just see the things. Because I'm going to tell you now, I love As Your Standard. We financially are working on a few things. And one of the reasons that I kind of backed off from As Your for a little bit is because we needed to get some things taken care of. However, we are so like at the point, like next month, we will be getting some As Your stuff because I'm so excited. I love As Your, people. I love As Your standard. It's As Your standard, not As Your. Why are you saying As Your, girl? What are you doing? Who's even talking? I don't know. So anyway, and just to talk about that, I do want to say this. What I have learned in our life is that there are certain seasons for everything. We were in a season, just a few short months ago where going to Costco every 2 weeks and spending whatever, going to as your standard and spending whatever and not thinking about a budget, we were in a season where that was okay. Right now, we are not in a season where that's okay, and we've had to kind of pull back and really think about our spending. And I'm not saying that that's you, but I know that that is us at this point in time. Does that mean that that season is going to last always? No. Part of the reason that we kind of pulled back was because honestly, the money that we were spending bulk buying things that are honestly still in our cabinet, that money was allotted for other things. So we had to kind of step back and be like, what are you doing? Like, why are you spending this much money? However, we have since learned that it's really important to put a budget, add As Your to our budget, because some of the things that we've gotten from there, it just doesn't compare in the grocery store. So anyway, I want to know below, what are your thoughts on bulk food buying, and what are your thoughts on just going to your local grocery store? I know that I have friends that would rather go and buy things for the day and for the week, and they, per meal or whatever. Are you the type of person that likes to bulk buy? Are you the type of person that likes to just buy as you go? I will be honest and tell you, for me, with my family, it's so funny because this happened today, which kind of sparked this video as well. I was sitting, in our room, me and my girls were talking. I honestly just did not have the energy to get up and to cook. Now, I'm about to cook right now. It's a little bit later, but my family's not here. My husband's not here. My kids are not here. But I fell into the trap of, I don't feel like cooking, so I'm going to DoorDash some food. We DoorDash food. We're excited. We're like almost near starving. And it was the worst thing that we've had, y'all, in a while. And it's been like that for a bit. Like, we don't even, because I've cooked so much from home, we don't even like eating out. And a lot of this is coming into play as well because we're in December. I don't know if many of you have heard of Jessica over at Three Rivers Homestead, but she does have several challenges throughout the year, and she has one coming up in January, I believe. I believe it's the Pantry Challenge. And last year, I actually participated in that until like the last week. And so even before that challenge, I start to really think about our budget, and I start to think about the things that we're buying. Are they necessary? Are they unnecessary? So I would just encourage you, and I would also say to you, now is the time to really think about how you want your simple living to be. For you, simple living may be, hey, I cook one meal every week. For you, simple living may be, I don't even want a garden. I don't want farm animals. I just want to make sure that we have healthy home cooked food in our home for our family. Your dream of simple living may be, I want to bulk cook for a whole month or 2 months. And your dream of simple living may be, I want to grow the biggest garden that I can to produce the staples for my family so that I never even have to really go into a grocery store. I challenge you to think about those things. I challenge you to take a look in your refrigerator and think about the things that you have in your refrigerator. Can this be a complete meal? Y'all, I did an inventory of my freezer, my refrigerator, my deep freezer, and when I tell you the amount of stuff that we have, I don't have to go grocery shopping for months if I don't want to, unless I'm getting like, fresh produce. But I have so much that I need to use, and so I'm really excited to join the challenge for January, because I really need to work on what's important. If we're getting food, fast food, and we never like it, why do we continue to buy it? Is it for convenience? And if it's for convenience, maybe, and this is my thought process, maybe it would benefit me to take a day, even if it's not a day, but each day, I work from home, guys. So if I'm cooking spaghetti, make a double batch of spaghetti. If I'm cooking lasagna, make a double batch of lasagna. So for me, it's really a lot of times about convenience, and I just don't feel like it. So having a meal in my freezer that I can just pop out on those days, it makes it worth it, because we would much rather today have gotten a meal out of the freezer and warmed it up really quickly or put it in the oven, as opposed to buying what we did and spending $40 just for the three of us to eat food that really wasn't good and it didn't even satisfy us. So again, friends, this is me. On this channel, there will just be a mod podge of things. I am just bringing to you what's on my heart, what I'm thinking about, what I have felt challenged in this week, what I felt challenged in just today, because there may be someone else that faces the same challenges and that has the same questions and that just didn't realize that you're not alone. So anyway, friends, that is all that I have for today. I am gonna bring some more stuff, hopefully later this weekend, earlier next week, but I'm super excited for you guys to be here. We have a lot of things coming up. We have a big project that we're working on. I talked a little bit about it in my previous video. However, plans completely changed, and I'm super excited about that. So you'll have to come back. You'll have to subscribe. Make sure you go ahead and click like on this video. Even if you don't subscribe, clicking like really, really helps our channel, and it helps to get our channel out to people that may be interested in this type of lifestyle. You don't have to have a huge farm or a million animals to be a homestead. We are literally on close to 2 acres, and we have a backyard. We have plenty of property beyond where we have our garden. However, I have chosen a small 40 by 40 foot, and that's where I'm gonna grow my food, because guess what? I can grow a lot of food in that space without being overwhelmed. So this year we're going to be taking some measures that will actually help us to make it not so overwhelming, and to just better our garden for us, right? So that we can grow to our fullest potential. We have been doing this since 2024, and I feel like, honestly, I have yet to have my garden grow to its fullest potential. So I'm super excited about that, and I'm super excited to talk to you guys a little bit more about the upcoming 2024 season. I'm also going to be doing a video of what I plan to focus on as far as growing next year. So be on the lookout for that. I have been going through seeds, 1,000,001 seeds, and I really think that I know now what it is that's important for me to focus on. So anyway, friends, I hope you guys have an amazing, amazing evening, amazing day whenever you're watching this. And I hope that you have a dream of simple living that suits your family, because my dream may not be your dream may not be my dream, but you can still dream of it, and you can make that dream a reality by just putting forth the effort and starting somewhere. So anyway, y'all, thank you so much for being here. I hope that this was something that helped you, that encouraged you, and I really hope to see you back here on the channel. So I hope that you guys are doing wonderful, and friends, just make it a great day. Talk to you soon. Bye.